If we're going to love, we've got to be prepared for love to end, because that's the most likely outcome of most relationships. Although no one ever falls in love expecting it to fall apart, reality warns us that we've got to be prepared. Just like no one plays slot machines expecting to lose each time, so the discouraging house odds should not deter us from the hope that this time things are going to be different. But at the same time, you would be a fool to gamble without having emotionally prepared for the possibility that you'll lose it all. And similarly, if you fall in love without having prepared yourself emotionally for the possibility that it might not last, you're setting yourself up for devastating heartbreak. Of course, talking about breakups is a huge downer when all you want is advice on finding and keeping love. Like, you don't want to think negatively. You want to stay focused on the positive and be hopeful and keep your vibration high. Well, I'm going to help you do that. And at the same time, teach you a skill that can help you bounce back better if a love affair ends. Hi, I'm Amy Waterman. I'm a love expert here at yourbrilliance.com. And if you want smart science-based love advice, you are in the right place. Keep watching to discover what your dream self and your fear self can teach you about bouncing back when life gets hard. So the way you end your last relationship sets you up for your next relationship. So if you were cheated on or used or ghosted or betrayed, you can inadvertently bring those energies to your next relationship and sabotage something really good. That is why it is so important that you make time for healing work after the end of a relationship. And that's not just about waiting for the pain to fade away. It's about thinking through what that relationship meant to you. What will the legacy of that relationship be? How will the future be different as a result of your experiences? How has it changed the way you see yourself and changed the way you see your life? Like, who are you now that all of this has happened to you? Now, crazily enough, your answers to those questions matter much more to your recovery than the amount of pain you're feeling. We tend to think that the best way to get over a relationship is to make ourselves feel nothing, right? Pretend he doesn't matter, tear up everything that reminds you of him, numb the pain with carbs, go out and have fun and keep yourself so busy that you can't even think of him. And that certainly is one way you can deal with a breakup. If you act like it didn't matter, then maybe you can convince yourself that it didn't affect you. But what we refuse to deal with goes underground. So if you are not going to process this breakup consciously, then your subconscious will draw its own lessons. Lessons like men can't be trusted, or caring about somebody always ends in disaster. And then when you meet that next guy, you will always hold back something because you remember how much it hurt last time. There's another way to deal with the end of a relationship that I think is a better way. It has to do with using your possible selves to bounce back better than before. Possible Selves Theory was proposed by Hazel Marcus and Paula Nurias back in 1986. And since then, it's been used to motivate everybody from teachers to juvenile delinquents. Now, in their paper, Marcus and Nurias discussed a small study that they had conducted along with a colleague, where they looked at 30 people who had lost somebody they loved, either through death or through a breakup. The study participants were asked whether they felt that they had recovered yet. And then they were separated into a good recovery group and a poor recovery group. Whether they felt they were recovering or not, pretty much everybody was having negative thoughts about themselves. They identified with words like lonely, underachiever, poor, weak, resentful. It seems like losing somebody you love tends to make you doubt yourself and see your own worst flaws. But the researchers didn't stop there. Next, they asked the study participants how they could see their lives in the future. They said, tell us what's possible for you. The folks who didn't feel like they were recovering said that they could imagine themselves being unpopular, unimportant, weak, unable to fit in, a failure, or depressed in the future. But the folks who were on the road to recovery said that they could imagine themselves being motivated, independent, rich, creative, trusted, active, powerful, intelligent, and attractive. Like, wow, that's a pretty major difference. The researchers compared this group to a control group who hadn't gone through any life crises. And they found that the good recovery group were able to imagine an even better future for themselves than the control group. So that means that going through a life crisis and recovering from it can give you the imagination and the motivation to imagine an even better life for yourself than before. Can we use this information to help us bounce back faster? I think the answer is yes. When you lose somebody that you care about, don't just dwell on thoughts of the past. It hurts to think about what your life is like now that he's gone and how different it used to be back when you were together. Rehashing the past and feeling sorry for yourself are normal and necessary stages in recovery, but there is a third stage that you don't want to miss. Imagining what's possible for you now that the relationship is out of the picture. No matter how great he was or wasn't, I'll bet that there were things in that relationship that were missing, things that you wish were different. Being with anyone limits our possibilities. It's like all of our possible selves collapse into the one self that he likes, the self that fits into the relationship. Now that you are free to meet someone new, what do you really want for your life? Like, do you want a relationship where there's more commitment, more trust, more compatibility? How are you holding yourself back in that relationship? Like, what weren't you able to do because you were with him? And what can you do now that you're single? Set your imagination free, but be warned. As you imagine what's possible for you in the future, your fear self might creep in. Your fear self is the opposite of your dream self. Your dream self, of course, is the self you want to be. Your fear self is the self that you are afraid to be. So you might find yourself imagining that you'll be lonely, bitter, a failure, loved by no one. And that's a sign that you're not quite done with the work of recovery yet. Your fear self tries to tell you, you'll never find anyone like him again. You're not worthy of a great relationship. You're not lovable. It wants you to believe that the only possible future for you is worse than the future you could have had with him. Now, your fear self has good intentions. It's trying to protect you in its own way. It wants to keep you safe by scaring you back into lying. Because if you try to get him back, then at least you'll have something rather than nothing. It's like that idea that a bad relationship is better than no relationship. The best way to deal with your fear self is to acknowledge it. Of course, you have fears. Of course, it's scary to think about a future that's totally unknown. But invite your dream self in to have a conversation. Yes, the future could be bad, but it also could be really, really good. Something could happen to you that you haven't even conceived of yet. And if you stay open to the possibilities and you keep your heart open, then who knows what the future might bring? Your dream self is the part of you that sees winners everywhere. Yes, some people play the game and they lose, but others people play and they win beyond their wildest dreams. So why can't that winner be you? Like, especially if you get smarter at how you play the game. I am wishing you so much joy and luck as you get back into the game of love. Keep dreaming, keep visualizing, and keep moving towards a love that's better than anything you could have imagined. And if you would like a little bit more support, then come and check out the whole range of resources we've got at yourbrilliance.com. Take really good care of yourself, and I will see you next time.